Hey everybody, welcome to the Fantasy Fitnessing Show. Today we have our preseason athlete rankings for the top 20. So we know we're 2 weeks into a 3-week open when this is dropping, but this is our second round of recording this. So let's see if we have some better luck here. So Katharine and Dave, and with me today is Katharine.
Hi, here's to hoping the recording, works.
Here's to hoping. Okay, so we're going to start off on the men's side of things. So our top two of the podium matches, looking at Madison with Medeiros repeating with Fellner, the bridesmaid once again. Then we kind of have a bit of a difference. So I have Saxon Panchik and Roma Kenikov as my 3-4, but you got Fikowski and BKG.
Yeah, I'm still unsure sort of on Roman. I've got him down at 9th. I don't know if he's going to actually stack up the way that we're all sort of hoping he's going to stack up when he gets to the games. And then I've got Saxon just a bit lower down at 7th too. He'll definitely be top 10. He could push for that top 5, but
yeah.
We'll
yeah, for me, Saxon, I moved him up just I think he just has more upside than either Fikowski or BKG does at this point. And then just him moving to Nashville, going to Proven, just shows, a big commitment. Like, as much as someone who trains 3-4 hours a day, 7 days a week, needs more commitment. But I think just being in that environment next to, Tia Toomey, Brooke Wells, who else is there? Will Morad's in, Proven these days. So I just, being surrounded with those type of athletes, I think just gives him that boost he needs. Then Kernikov, it's tough to rank him next to people. I think just looking back at 2019 Dubai, I think he finished 3rd behind, both Fellner and Fikowski that year. So just does have some pedigree with the elite group.
Yeah, but then he didn't even make it out of his semifinal last year. He actually qualified for the games at a last chance.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know.
I think he did have a bit of a back injury last year that he was working his way through. Whether or not that was the reason, but there are question marks there in terms of finishing 4th in one of the weaker semifinals.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the next big thing that I kind of see just sort of interesting is we both have Lazar Ducic at 12th, which is interesting to match up that far down. And then I've got Ricky Garrard just below him, and you've got Ricky Garrard in your top 10.
Yeah, again, Ricky's an incredible wild card to see where he stacks up. Some of his posts show some maturity that's been learned over the years. Just seems a bit more humble in some of his comments. I think that could just be some of the underdog training and the coaching that he's getting there. So I do see him at the top 10. For Ducic, I don't know. Again, he's going to be another one that's going to be tough to judge. I'm not sure if training remotely is going to give him the same bump as some of these other guys, because I think in terms of games finishes, we both have Adler above him. I have Hopper above him, along with I guess Kernikov, Ricky. They didn't place last year, so I like those guys' upside more. I think the comparison between Ducic and Adler, I think Ducic finished 2nd in Dubai, Adler was 4th, so there was some direct head-to-head. I think those other guys will rise up to the challenge more than Ducic just training remotely like he did last year. Even if he is doing the mayhem programming, I think those other guys have done enough to make that leap above him.
Yeah, and that's where, as much as you were saying, Saxon has been committed to being a professional athlete, but now moving to Proven. It is a commitment and it is a change, that working remotely or with different coaches and then changing things up is a commitment. And yeah, Ducic still sort of the same, just doing remote programming.
Another person that we have gone different directions on based off of his game's performance last year, Noah Olson. So you have him 8, I have him drop down to 13th. At least from my perspective, again, like I don't see him doing enough to go up in the standings compared to, all those other guys we've just talked about.
Yeah, I'd say Olsen is probably up in my top 10 as possibly the last year sort of thing. And depending how the open and quarterfinals and semifinals kind of pan out for him, he could definitely drop if he doesn't kind of prove it. And like the 21 or 22.1 open announcement wasn't really a great gauge because, he was at elevation.
Yeah.
I feel like he can still make a surge. He's still definitely in that top 10. I wouldn't drop him out.
Drop him out. Okay. I guess that's running down to the rest of the board. I think we're both in the same range with Andre Houdet. I'm 14, you're 17. You have Travis Mayer on your list. I dropped them out of the top 20 for mine. Again, just looking to see the younger kids come up versus kind of the old guard there. I think we started to see it last year, and I think we'll probably see it a lot more coming into the 2022 games.
Yeah, mine definitely has a few more, I guess, repeat athletes that are definitely on the older side of the competition sort of life. Then you have definitely some younger ones in there. And that's good. Like, I'm excited for the sort of fresh blood, the up and coming kind of guys. I just don't know how they're going to stack up yet. And some of them are going to hit and some of them are going to miss. And like a year ago, Jay Crouch, I was super keen. And then now I'm like, well, I'm not sure. So he's not there. I want him there.
That's fair. I think I'm probably, more personally hoping for the upside of like Chandler Smith and Jay Crouch. I think both those guys have a ton of potential. And I'm just, this is probably more my personal fan perspective of hoping them to come through and reaching the potential this year. Whether or not, their off season leads them there, we'll see. But, I got both those guys in my top 20 coming into this year.
Yeah. And they could both, like, the bottom 5 is definitely, there's a lot of names that could squeeze in there and drop out for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think just looking at my list, I'm pretty solid on maybe my top 13, top 14, but after that, anywhere from 15 to probably 25, 27 could, interchange based off of, any given day.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Just looking down mine, definitely the top 14, I'm probably pretty sure of. Travis Mayer is my 15th.
Yeah.
So from him down, I feel like it could all shake up for sure.
Okay.
All right.
Moving on to the women's side. So our top 5 are the same, just slightly different order. So Tia Claire Tumior, first place, both of us. Second and third, I have Gabrielle Magala, then Laura Horvath, where you have Laura Horvath, then Gabrielle Magala. And then sliding down, I have Mallory O'Brien 4th and Haley Adams 5th, while you have Adams 4th and O'Brien 5th.
Yeah, those are all could easily flip-flop those. Well, I'm not going to flip-flop Tia out of first, but like Horvath, Magala, Adams, and O'Brien, they're definitely all top 5 athletes. And I don't really see that changing unless there's sort of somebody we don't know, kind of like O'Brien was last year, to come. And like how Horvath came on the scene too. Like there's always a potential athlete just kind of coming out and showing up and hitting that top 5, but that's a solid top 5.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, everything we saw at the off-season events, those 4 just seem to be next in line behind Toomey. I hope Haley Adams always does, or not always, but doesn't always get the most hype in CrossFit circles, but she always just ends up there. Like regardless whether it was like the MAC last year with Barnhart and Wells, like Adams was the one who finished second. nothing seems to be flashy, but she's always just right there in the mix. And um, there'll be a lot more people in our list below that will get a lot more hype from, all the different outlets. But, to me, Adams will just grind her way into a top 5 finish.
Yeah, 100%.
So I guess looking down, we probably have our biggest difference in our next spot. My number 6, Katharine David's daughter, where you have her down in 13th.
Yeah. Now looking at that, I feel like that's probably a bit low because I am really hopeful for her. Moving up to Iceland and training with that crew up there I think it's going to be phenomenal for her. So that's probably a bit low. It's probably more like, this is sort of your last chance. Let's see how you shake out kind of thing, that she needs to sort of prove a little bit to me to pull up into that top 10.
Yeah. I'm just looking at it from, upside at this point. Everything I've seen from her seems she's just has new life into her training. It almost seemed a bit robotic over the last year from what she was sharing on her Instagram posts, where now it seems a lot more just like rejuvenated. So I'm hoping that, comes back into the training, especially, seeing what's happening in Iceland just with that, training crew. Everybody seems like they're having a blast, and the talent and capability is there for David's daughter. So hopefully just bringing new energy will, bring her back, or at least that's what I'm looking towards.
Yeah, I really hope that is how it plays out, but I do have her down at 13th for now. And then the person that I had in at 6th, you have down at 14th. So I had Christy Ermo O'Connell up at 6th because she kind of had a weird year, like not making it out of her semifinal and then coming through last chance, but then did great at the games. She's somebody that knows how to get it done.
Yeah, definitely. She's a tough one. And I think just the whole next block of athletes for me, like a lot of it is wait and see. So, because, when we run through the next, group of athletes, for me, it includes Kara Saunders, Brooke Wells, Bethany Shadburn, and Danny Spiegel, all of which either couldn't compete last year at the games, or I guess they all did, or competed at the games or missed the games, or dropped out due to injury or COVID. So, they're all really wild cards this year to seeing where they come back. Like Kara Saunders looked lights out last year, but then, once she got to the games, we didn't get to see her perform at her best. Bethany Shadburn, goes to win West Coast Classic, but then again, we miss her at the games. And Danny Spiegel was top 20 in the games before she had to drop out as well. So, that's really the challenge that I found with this block of rankings, is that you have all these elite level athletes, and just slotting them in just kind of based off of where you think they were. I think Ermo or O'Connell, just although she actually does have a lot of strength behind her game as well, but just seeing all these different athletes come back, I just at this point see them sliding ahead of O'Connell in the overall rankings.
Yeah, it's interesting because both of our next blocks are quite different, but are also wait and see athletes. Because we have Kara Saunders the same, but then I've got Sigmund's daughter and Jamie Simmons, and you also have Brooke Wells sort of in that block too, that they're all coming back from injury. But I'm really hoping that they can all sit in that top 10 once they're back. They all definitely have potential. But I guess I just have O'Connell above my potential picks.
That's fair. Like, the what we know and what we saw versus kind of some speculation there.
Yeah, for sure.
Somebody I have moving up in my top 10 versus the games last year is Emma McQuaid. Just seeing her performance at Wadapalooza. So she did beat out Shadburn there. I can't remember who finished third, but and then some Ellie Turner and some Annika Greer, some of those young guns coming through as well. But I think just seeing her breakthrough with I think her not her first major competition victory since she won a semifinal last year, but seeing her break through at a live competition, I'm optimistic to see her this year, and I think she can jump up a few rankings when she gets to Madison.
Yeah, she's definitely has potential for some movement. I've just got her down at 14th. It was just so hard because there's so many that we don't really know where they're gonna fall, and I put her above Shadburn because she just beat her. But yeah, it's do you put Shadburn and McQuaid like up above Kara Saunders or Sigmund's daughter? Because like a Sigmund's daughter that's ready to go is better than possibly both of them.
Yeah. I guess on Sigmund's daughter, like we talked about, you have her quite high. I'm concerned at this point going into the season. I think going into Dubai, she got her medical clearance days before the competition. Wodapalooza, she ended up withdrawing for the competition just due to some concerns of how her knee reacted to the bar complex on that event. And so I'm definitely a wait and see on Sarah Sigmund's daughter this year. Like, I hope she comes back 100%. I just feels like she rushed things coming back in the fall with the Open and the quarterfinals being kind of a gentle gateway into competition for these elite athletes to work their way back. So it's surprising for kind of the longevity of her career to have rushed back days away from clearance. Like, I get she got clearance and obviously she was comfortable competing. It just winning Dubai is
kind of
not the end result.
Just an unnecessary risk. I kind of have her placed probably up that high, disregarding what happened in the off season. I'd probably have her up that high if she had just taken all the time and not had those scares and stuff. Like, to me, there's no point to need to know where you sit, because how you do in Dubai and Wodapalooza does not at all affect your game season. And the fields are very different, that you could win one of those, but then just get smoked by like everybody that we have above her. Even on mine, I've got her 8th. Like, she wasn't 8th, going to be 8th in either of those competitions probably. So it doesn't really show you anything. Like, I don't know why that call was made. I'm just kind of acting like it didn't happen and she's just coming back.
Fair enough. I just looking through the rest of the list. I got Simmons coming back at 16th. Again, kind of a wait and see on the shoulder. I don't know. She definitely took her time from a rehab perspective, just coming back to doing some heavy lifts towards the end of the year. And then kind of rounding out my top 20, I got a couple kids coming in. Ellie Turner in 19th and Emma Lawson in 20th. Turner, I think, just gained a ton of confidence coming out of Wodapalooza. Just even she mentioned it, I think, on the Coffee Pods and Wads interview. Just how that really turned her mindset around. Although, like, coming out of Oceania from the women's side especially, like, that is going to be tough. Like, to have Tia Toomey and Kara Saunders and Jamie Simmons coming back, it's going to be a challenge for Ellie Turner and Laura Clifton, games athletes last year. So I could have her 19th, but again, she could easily end up going through last chance qualifier in order to make it to Madison. So I hope you see her there, but that one's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and it's also going to be interesting if they let people request to go to other semifinals again, because Tia competed in person at a North American semifinal. So are they going to let her do that again, or are they going to require people to go back to the continent that they're from? Because there's some South Africans in Europe and all sorts of different things. So it'll be, I don't think that rule is probably flushed out quite yet.
No, I can't imagine anything that's 3 months away is finalized at this point.
No.
Just normally with CrossFit, but never mind this. I guess my kind of last point to bring out is Emma Lawson. She's, again, fittest teen on earth last year. She was 6th or 7th at Dubai last year. So she's not committed to going to the individual field, but I just what we saw of her, I guess in how she ranked up, I guess in Dubai, makes me think she could crack this top 20 as a 17-year-old, kind of similar to Carrie and O'Brien last year.
Yeah, she definitely has possibility to be up there. Yours again is like another hopeful pick. My last two that kind of fit in there was Thuri Helgadottir and Emily Rolfe, who are multiple year games athletes that round up my top 20. So future considerations versus kind of a little bit more proven.
Yeah.
But we'll
Yeah,
see.
like I don't know. Emily Rolfe had, event win. So like it's hard to hard to argue her out of your top 20. So it could go either way for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, that is our preseason or pre-open top 20 men and women rankings there. So full details can be found on our Instagram at Fantasy Fitnessing. You can also sign up for free to play fantasy CrossFit games at fantasyfitnessing.com. And we also will be bringing you updates throughout the season after all the major competitions. And if you do like this or have like this, we also do a weekly segment on the Rig Report on the Clydesdale Media YouTube page. So you can also check us out there for more stats and information. So with that, thank you and thanks for watching.
Take care.